Hey everyone, MLive's Brendan Quinn here alongside football beat writer Nick Baumgardner following Jim Harbaugh's first press conference of the spring football season. Nick, not a lot said.
No.
Not exactly in the most revealing of moods, but he got up there and kind of just said everything was great. He's happy to be here. Then he's going to go coach some football and not probably talk to us too much.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the idea, and it was funny because he said something along the lines of he didn't expect to do this today or something like that, which was kind of like, was he serious or was he joking? I didn't know, but he's not here to talk to us. Obviously, that's part of it. But I think there was some interesting things in there if you read deep with him, which I think you kind of have to do, is you let him kind of say what he has to say, and you have to hang on every word he says. There's a few things of, at the moment it's still a process of everyone's sort of figuring everyone out, right. And he wants that to continue on, I think, as long as possible. I think he wants it to be uncomfortable for everyone. Mm-hmm. The uncharted waters comment he makes, he said something like, it's uncharted waters for everybody. Sometimes it's a good thing because some guys will thrive in that and right. Want to see that. So I think right now, the idea for all these guys, coaches, is to make it as uncomfortable and a little bit uneasy for all these players as they possibly can. And whatever they get done, they get done. But let's see if you're them. Let's see who we've got here and who we don't. And let's see mentally, if we've got anybody that we can line.
Right. So after how many years have you been on the football beat here?
This will be my fifth.
Your fifth.
Oh boy.
So after all those years of Brady, just a totally different vibe up there. I mean, it's hard to compare and contrast though. Kind of what you think it's going to be like in these, in terms of getting information. That was always sometimes Brady was really good. Other times he just went,
right.
Canvas.
I think this will be more consistent. We asked him about some injuries, and he gave answers today about guys that weren't going to practice in spring. Didn't seem to be hesitant on that. Didn't really want to get into detail, which is fine. But he was upfront about that. I think he's an interesting guy, and there are certain questions that just you're not going to ask him a question. If we're going to talk about this, you're not going to ask him a question to get a soundbite. There's some coaches who you can say, "Well, I'm going to ask you this ridiculous. Talk about player Y." And they'll give you a fancy little soundbite that'll work on your. He will never do that.
Yeah.
You'll say, talk about that quarterback. He'll say, well, he's 6'3" and he's whatever, and he's a good kid,
right.
And moving right along. That's how he is. So I think he's interesting. I think that as he gets more comfortable with everybody around him, I'm sure it'll probably get more interesting. But he's an interesting guy to talk to and an interesting guy to read. And I got to think that on the field, it's pretty close to the same way. The players probably don't know what's happening,
right.
Don't know what to expect, are constantly on their toes, and I think that's kind of what they want this to be, at least right now, moving into the rest of the spring.
Kind of one of those difficult things that when you get into access nowadays compared to in the past, not the recent past, but how it used to be, when it'd be easier to get back behind those walls and see how he approaches practice and things like that, but we have no idea. But you mentioned the injuries. Kind of roll through them for everyone out there of what came out of today.
Sione Huma's fullback that won't practice in spring. He's an undisclosed injury. It doesn't sound like Khalid Hill is back from the knee surgery he had, tight end. And Drake Johnson obviously had the ACL at the end of the year, so he's not back either. Those are the only three that he said weren't going to go. So it sounds like Jake Butt's good to go. We knew that Peppers was good to go. We knew that Derek Green was good to go. So those three are it, and it sounds like everybody else is ready to go. And I'm sure somebody will get dinged up along the way, but right now that's a pretty good, pretty nice clean bill of health for them.
Didn't seem too eager, and I think this was legit. I don't think he was just dancing around any questions. I picked up on the sense that the two ideas of two deeps and all those things that people wait for. I don't think that is anything close to being a priority. Right
No,
now.
he even said that he's not sure what everybody's best position is.
Right.
So in that sense, you have to understand that they're evaluating the entire roster, not just from old game tape. They're evaluating every single player and where he fits. If a guy was recruited to come here to play wide receiver and he thinks, well, that guy could probably play corner, he'll probably play corner. Richard Sherman played wide receiver for this guy in college, okay? This is not, he'll do whatever he feels like the guy's best fit at. And so in that sense, he even said none of these position switches are confirmed. So if we want to talk about Jabril Peppers saying he's going to play safety, he'll play safety if Jim Harbaugh says he can play safety. So there's that. And so he says we're still figuring out where everyone's best suited. And, I think that's fair to say. I mean, you're not giving anybody a job. You're not worrying about depth charts. And right now, you're not even really worrying about where guys play. You're just worrying and finding out where are our football players? Right. Do we have any guys on this team we can really rely on? Let's put them in, put those guys in places to play, make plays, and we'll build around them. I think that's how you build a team. That's how he does it, and that's what they're doing right now.
Could just move Jabril to quarterback, just throw another one in there. They only got 7.
Just to give us all a heart attack
going
forward, right?
All right, well, that's it from Schembeckler Hall today. For Nick, I'm Brendan. As always, thanks for watching.